Today we're talking about Dunearn House and we'll let data do the talking.
Hi everyone, my name is Emma.
I'm Sarah, and today we're doing a part 1 of a 2-part review of Dunearn House, a new launch coming out in Bukit Timah in July 2026.
Now, we currently still do not have full information of the project yet, but we have done a fair bit of research on this project, and there are a few things that we think are genuinely worth understanding, particularly around the land bid and the Turf City Masterplan context.
We'll walk through the project basics, the numbers behind the land bid, the location, the URA Masterplan, how pricing compares to nearby sites, and finally our honest read at the end. Let's start with the basics. Dunearn House is a 99-year leasehold development on Dunearn Road, Bukit Timah, District 11 Core Central Region. The GLS tender closed in June 2025. So we have a three-way JV developer, Fraser's Property, Sekisui House and CSC Land Group. The site area is 13,491 square meters, which is just over 145,000 square feet, with a plot ratio of 2.4. So this site is pure residential, there will be no commercial element, and we have a total of 380 units across 2 towers, all north-south facing. The front tower facing Bukit Timah Road is 10 stories, which faces Dunearn Road. Opposite we have Royal Green, which is a low-rise development of only 5 stories. The back tower faces towards Turf City and it goes up to 19 stories. The rest of the Turf City plots have a lower plot ratio, so what this means is that the 19-story block that's facing Turf City might be able to enjoy good views. Unit mix would consist of 2, 3 and 4 bedrooms.
Next few pieces of information that I'm going to share with you are subject to changes, but what we know now are these. First, construction method is likely to be non-PPVC. Now, what this means is that units are not built with prefabricated volumetric components. Practically, this would mean that our buyers will get flexibility to renovate or customize after they get their keys, something that really matters to own-stay buyers. Secondly, car park provision is likely to be 60%, and that is actually below the typical ratio, and it reflects the car-light planning direction of the Turf City precinct, something you need to take note of, especially if you think this is a priority for you. We are expecting full condo facilities, which means that there will be a tennis court, and overall, when we look at the design brief, we can see that it is very much oriented towards own-stay buyers.
Okay, so at this point, if you follow Singapore property closely, be it new launches, land bids or market data, do hit the like and subscribe button because we do regular updates like these and it's free.
This chapter is probably going to be the most useful if you are trying to get a read on pricing. Now, the land bid data gives you a bottom-up sense of what the developer paid for and what that implies for launch prices, so you might want to pay attention to this. The tender for Dunearn Road GLS closed in June 2025, and altogether it attracted 9 bidders to come forward. Now, for context, that really is the highest number of bids that we have seen for prime CCR sites since May of 2018. And here's how the bids stacked up. Fraser's, Sekisui and CSC Land won at 491.45 million or 1410 PSF per plot ratio. Coming in second would be CDL at 474 million, 1360 PSF PPR. Now, one thing I want you to take note of here is this. The gap between the top bid and the second bid was only 3.7%. We have 9 bidders and top 2 being so close to each other. What this suggests is that the market has a fairly consistent view of what this land is worth.
There's also historical comparison. So back in 2017, the developer of 4th Avenue Residences, which is also a 99-year leasehold project just across the road from Dunearn House, paid about 1,540 PSF PPR. Dunearn's house winning bid at 1410 PSF PPR is 8.4% below that figure, even though the market has moved significantly from 4th Avenue's launch till now. So could we be potentially buying Dunearn House today at yesterday's pricing? So if you work backwards from the land cost, adding construction, professional fees and financing, the break-even of this project is somewhere in the 2,500 PSF range, which would point to an indicative launch price of roughly 3,200 PSF, with higher floor units facing Turf City likely priced at the upper end or above. Of course, these are just our estimates. Actual pricing hasn't been confirmed and we'll update when the official pricing is out. So let us know what you think would be the PSF of Dunearn House, and if our estimate of 3,200 PSF is too high, too low, or just right. Let's talk about location. Dunearn House is in the Bukit Timah neighbourhood, which is an established residential area that has historically held its value very well. So one major identity of Bukit Timah is schools. It is a well-known education belt with many reputable kindergartens, secondary schools and JCs, with MJS potentially within 1 km of Dunearn House. We foresee this project to attract a lot of demand from families with school-going children, existing Bukit Timah residents looking to right size, or even buyers who wish to enter prime district at an affordable quantum. So I know some of you are going to disagree with me when I say this is going to be affordable, but if you are familiar with the area, you would know that existing condos in the area are older. They tend to have larger floor plates and hence higher quantum.
Now, in terms of MRT access, the nearest station would be your 6th Avenue on the downtown line. And really, CBD is roughly only 20 to 25 minutes by train, making it very convenient for those who decide to take the MRT. Those who drive, Dunearn Road is one of the key arterial roads running through Bukit Timah toward the town area, and it connects to areas such as Newton, 6th Avenue, King Albert Park, Beauty World, and even PIE access. The neighbourhood has amenities from the nearby Guthrie House, greenery from the nearby nature parks such as your Bukit Timah Nature Reserve, your Rail Corridor, and your Botanic Gardens. And finally, it has the character of a landed enclave, making it feel very exclusive. The Turf City Masterplan is probably the single biggest factor that is shaping up how people are thinking about this project. And today we want to walk through it with you properly because there's a lot of detail that I believe will not make it into the headlines that we want to share with you because you're here. Dunearn House is positioned as the first private residential plot, which is also a harmonized plot within the Bukit Timah City Transformation Zone. Okay, so the site was actually Singapore's second race course, operating from the year 1933 all the way until 1999, when the Turf Club actually relocated to Kranji. Now, what this meant was that it left a 176-hectare land parcel sitting largely idle for over 2 decades. Since then, URA has already announced plans to transform the entire site into a new residential precinct. What the scale of this plan is that we are expecting 15,000 to 20,000 new homes, which is going to be a mix of both public and private housing developed over the next 2 to 3 decades. The inclusion of public housing is actually intentional because Bukit Timah as an area, we have not seen any new HDB development in roughly the last 40 years, and the government has framed this as creating an accessible and inclusive estate.
So the planning vision for the precinct is built around a 10 minutes neighbourhood concept where residents can reach the MRT station, shops, parks and community amenities within just a 10 minutes walk or a 5-minute cycle. So it's also designed to be car light, pedestrian friendly and highly connected by public transport, which also explains the lower car park ratio mentioned earlier. The entire area is planned into 4 distinct neighbourhoods, and Dunearn House is right beside Stables Commune, a lifestyle-focused enclave featuring small-scale retails, cafes, and daily conveniences. Just minutes away, you have the future racecourse neighbourhood, which will become the civic heart of Turf City, bringing retail and dining options, sports and recreational facilities, community spaces, green open parks, and amenities around the future Cross Island Line MRT station. What this means is Dunearn House offers the rare chance to enjoy a peaceful Bukit Timah address today, while being right next to a future lifestyle district that will only become more vibrant with time.
We have the Cross Island Line, the 8th MRT line coming up with a Turf City station serving as an additional MRT station to Dunearn House. The Turf City station is expected to complete only in 2032, and that is around 2 years from the time that Dunearn House is expected to TOP. Now, in the meantime, you are still within walking distance to 6th Avenue MRT station. Is it going to worsen the traffic jam? And what we now know is that there have been road improvement studies in progress for Dunearn Road, Bukit Timah Road, as well as Eng Neo Avenue. And there's potentially also going to be a new elevated access from PIE.
Okay, to give Dunearn House land cost some context, right, let's look at what other nearby GLS sites have gone for. Okay, in July 2025, Holland Link GLS closed at 1432 PSF PPR by Sim Lian, which is around 1.6% higher than Dunearn House. This site is further from public transport and drew fewer bidders with a 22% spread between the top 2 bids. In November 2025, Bukit Timah Road GLS closed at 1820 PSF PPR by HH Investment with a total of 8 bidders. That is 29% above Dunearn House. It sits right next to an MRT station, which partially explains the premium. In the RCR region, we have Dover Drive GLS that concluded in March 2026 at 1556 PSF PPR with a total of 6 bidders. So despite being outside of the CCR, the land cost was approximately 10% above Dunearn House. From the land bid comparisons, we can actually see that Dunearn House land price actually looks relatively disciplined and healthy. It may present an opportunity to get a premium postcode while the developer didn't pay a premium land cost. What makes this even more interesting is that the land parcel next to Dunearn House is now open for tender. It is a mixed-use residential and commercial site that could potentially command a higher bid. What the pattern shows is that land costs in the area have generally trended upwards since the Dunearn House bid in June 2025. Of course, each site has different characteristics, so they are not direct apple-to-apple comparisons, but the directional trend remains consistent. We have a piece of breaking but not so surprising news for you. At the time of recording, we did not know how much the plot next to Dunearn House is going to be sold at, but in April 2026, the land was awarded to Wing Tai and Metro at 1625 PSF PPR. And remember, Dunearn House PSF is 1410, so that makes the next plot about 15% higher than Dunearn House. Based on what we know now, if you miss Dunearn House, you could potentially be paying a higher price for a unit of similar attributes and location.
On the supply side, there haven't been any new launches in the Bukit Timah or 6th Avenue belt for several years. Royal Green, 4th Avenue Residences, Mayfair Gardens, those all launched around 2018 to 2019. So buyers who are looking for a new option in this school catchment area honestly haven't had many choices recently. So Dunearn House partly will fill this gap. Now, whether or not this pricing makes sense for any individual buyer ultimately depends on a few things. Number one, your entry quantum. Number two, how long do you intend to hold it for? And thirdly, what are we benchmarking against? Now, if all these types of analysis actually interest you, you want to definitely stay tuned to our next video where we will be deep diving into the data.
It's now time for us to give our preliminary assessment based on what we know, and I'll go first. Okay, so the case of Dunearn House rests on two strong pillars. First is the established Bukit Timah location, a proven district known for its school catchment, downtown line connectivity, greenery and lifestyle appeal, and all of which tend to support long-term value. Second is the Turf City transformation story, which adds a meaningful future growth angle as the precinct gradually evolves over time. What I will pay close attention to is the entry price and unit quantum. Many surrounding resale condos, like I mentioned just now, are older, come with larger floor plates that sometimes are not the most efficient and therefore high overall quantum. So if Dunearn House can be launched with more efficient practical layouts at a much more digestible price point, it could present a rare opportunity for families to enter prime Bukit Timah district with a lower capital outlay. Buyers should also consider their intended holding period, because those with a medium to long-term view may be better positioned to enjoy both the immediate strength of Bukit Timah address and the longer upside of the Turf City transformation.
I think we should also point out to everyone that the Turf City transformation is a government-backed master plan, okay, rather than a private sector initiative. Now, on the ground, we already see signs of it happening as vendors have been asked to vacate the Turf City area, and the land plot beside Dunearn House is already in the process of being bidded for. In addition, the Cross Island line is already in the works and expected to fully complete by 2032, with Turf City MRT station operating. Historically, we know that the government makes very conscious effort to provide public transportation nodes where they expect high use of the area. Of course, we already can assure buyers that the Bukit Timah area is an area that has its natural demand.
Okay, so the land bid dynamics are also something worth noticing. 9 bidders with a tight top spread isn't a situation where one developer massively overpaid, which means the market broadly agreed that this land was worth around 1,400 PSF PPR. So that gives you a certain degree of confidence that the pricing wasn't built on an outlier assumption. So the bottom line is, Dunearn House is shaping up to be a credible case for many types of buyers. Honestly, we are very excited for the release of more details such as the indicative price and the layouts, which we will share more in our next video. If this was useful, a like helps other people find the video. And subscribe if you want to catch the pricing update when Dunearn House officially launches. We'll do a follow-up once the numbers are out. See you!
Take care.